Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hey, James.
Hey, Misbah.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can see there are some amazing people from our community who have already joined us in the waiting room. Can you spot anybody who you want to give a shout out to, James?
Of course I can. I'm just going to put a message in the comments myself. But yeah, I see loads of
Yeah.
familiar names and faces in here. We have Alicia there from Poland, Sandy Bennett there from snowy Pennsylvania, Ivana. We've got Martin
I'd,
from Glasgow.
I'd like to give a big, big, big shout out to Marit from Finland. How's it going,
Oh, yeah.
Marit? I bumped into Marit at the BET conference in London. Was it last week, James, or was it the week before?
It was last week,
Last
yeah.
week, last week. And Marit was so kind. She bought a gift for the Wakelet team, and it was this delicious Finnish chocolate that tastes so unique. It tastes incredible. I've shared it with the Wakelet team, Marit, and we're all very, very appreciative. It's always amazing to see people from our community in real life and put a face to the name. And yeah, I saw a bunch of ambassadors at that actually. Let's see, Maha, welcome, Maha. It's so good to see you again. I've not seen you in a while. How's it going? You've already said Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Great to see you again. We've got Lydia. Awesome. So many people from Poland, from Libya, Glasgow, Tunisia, Tennessee. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, what do you think, James? Should we kick off?
I think so, yeah. Let's go.
How's my audio, by the way? Because I'm missing the little foam bit from this microphone. Is it
You
making a
sound great
difference
to
or
me.
not?
You sound
Okay,
really good to
good.
me.
I never needed it in the first place. Okay, everybody, welcome. I hope that you've all had a fantastic start to the new year. I know that all of you as educators, a new year represents a new time to bring new technology into your classroom, to start out new things, to experiment with new best practices, to try and engage those learning outcomes with your students. And for us at Wakelet, it's a chance to kind of look back at the previous year, take into account all of the feedback that we've got, assess the things that we could have done better, celebrate the things that we've got right, but most importantly, look at our community and kind of figure out, okay, what does the community need from us right now? And we thought that it would be a really good time to do a quick recap of the Wakelet platform, show off some of the features and show off some of the use cases which you may not have seen. I know that a lot of you here join every webinar, which is amazing. So if there are some things that you may have already seen, just let us know in the comments whether you like them or not. At least it'll give you something to do whilst you're looking at something that you've already seen a bunch of times. For those of you who have not seen these things, I think you're going to be really excited. Yeah, we've got some fresh use cases to show you. And I always think it's great just to take a step back, take a look at the platform and help you understand how best to use it. So I'm going to go through some really cool examples. I'm going to go through a recap of the platform, and then James is going to come in towards the end and showcase the new group plan on Wakelet and all of the really cool ways that you can use that with your students and with your teammates, and essentially take all of the things that I've shown you and use them at scale. So that'll be really cool. I'm going to add, actually, James, if you wait, because you can see when I click on my presentation. I'm going to click on my presentation, then you bring that in, okay? And then just let me know, all right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep, and your presentation's up.
Fantastic. Okay. It's really important to say this, right? Because sometimes you'll get some feedback from our ambassadors and from people in the community where when people ask them, what is Wakelet? The answer tends to differ depending on what you personally use Wakelet for. For some people, Wakelet is a portfolio platform. For some, it's a curation platform. For some, it's a lesson plan platform. And that's the beauty of Wakelet and really a measure of how versatile it is, right? But it's always important to have a sentence or a line that explains what it does on a technical level and what it achieves. So Wakelet is a visual platform for educators, and it allows you and everybody else to capture, organize, present, and share anything on the web. Capture, that is curate, it means saving, it means bookmarking. Organizing is when you drag things around your collections, when you turn them into collections. Presenting is, of course, every time you share, every time you change the layout, every time you present to a class. And share is the multiple ways that you can share it, either via email, link, code, whatever it might be. So that's really the phrase that you should answer when anyone asks, what is Wakelet? Now, one of the things that I love the most about the platform, and which I'm sure all of you do as well, is that Wakelet is a bridge that connects all of your favorite tools. As an educator, you use so many different tools. I'm sure that you use at least 3, 4, or 5 of the tools which are on your screen right now. And we've gone out of our way to form partnerships, relationships with the teams in these platforms and say, hey, look, we've got a platform that can connect everything together, a platform where everything comes together in one place. And through those conversations, we develop integrations, we develop community partnerships, and we figure out how best to be useful for you guys, because we know that, Wakelet's just a part of your workflow. Now, the reason why I love this is if I go to this collection here, and by the way, we're going to share all these resources in the chat shortly afterwards. Wakelet works with practically everything. Okay, if something has a URL or if it's a piece of content that exists on the web, whether it's interactive, whether it's a piece of media, whether it's static, it doesn't matter. You can put it into a Wakelet collection. That's the core. That's the thing that underpins Wakelet's value. So this is the only place online where you can have an article, where you can have an image, an infographic, where you can have a piece of text that you can edit and move around, that you can use Microsoft's Immersive Reader to translate and add accessibility options, where you can have directly under that a YouTube video that you've selected about a particular topic or resource, where you've uploaded some instruction for your students directly into the platform, where you've got a Loom video that you created 5 weeks ago about a very specific thing that you think would work really well within this collection, where you can add slides, where you can add amazing creations from Genially that are completely interactable, in line, without the student ever having to leave the page. And then directly underneath that, you've got Canva, you've got Canva slides, so things which, again, interactable, don't need to leave the site. You've got all of Canva's features, so you can even have quizzes directly there. Now imagine how powerful this is, that you can have a video of you explaining what this quiz does and what the learning outcome is. Directly underneath it, you can have the actual quiz, and then directly underneath that, you've got a prompt for your students to leave some reflection and feedback if they wish as well. We also have an amazing integration with Adobe Slides as well, which is great. Great integration with Adobe Express. Again, boosting that creativity, just making sure that all of those platforms that you touch, that you come into contact with, that you have work on, are able to come and fit together in one piece. Beautiful integration by Edpuzzle here. We've got the amazing Isaacs, sorry, I forget. My brain sometimes gets a little bit cross with the names, but we've got an incredible integration here with Edpuzzle, which allows you to actually come and interact with an Edpuzzle video directly in line. You can upload PDFs, Word documents, and of course, this part here is really, really key. With this, you're able to take anything from social media and add it into Wakelet. Now, for a lot of educators, this is like a no-no, right? You want to keep your students away from social media. But I think nowadays, teachers are becoming a little bit more acceptance of the fact that, hey, social media has some amazing content on it as well, whether it's X, whether it's TikTok. The difference is that you get to select the content that the student sees, you get to add context to it, and you get to put it into one place. We've also got integrations with Spotify and SoundCloud too, so if there's a particular podcast, piece of music that you wanted to share. The whole point through all of this, and the reason why I'm being exhaustive, is because literally anything can be added to a Wakelet collection. Okay, please, guys, feel free. I would love everybody in the chat right now, just before I move over to this next bit, if you could share with us what your most used integration is on Wakelet, or what kind of content is the most frequent that you add to a Wakelet collection? Is it videos? Is it text? Is it your own presentations? I'd love to hear now, because I think it's great to hear, not only for us as the team to understand which integrations are the most popular, but also you may have an idea that another person in the community has not heard about. So please right now, post into the chat, what is the most popular piece of content, media type that you add into a Wakelet collection? Okay, so these are the top 3 ways that educators are using Wakelet: to curate information and resources, to create beautiful collections and presentations, and to collaborate with their other teachers, their team, other members of staff, and of course, students. And teachers love Wakelet for a myriad of different reasons, okay? First and foremost, it makes it extremely easy to capture anything and share it visually. So rather than just copying and pasting a hyperlink and then sharing that, you're able to display that content in a practical way, in a way that looks visual, in a way that people are going to engage with. The second thing is simple sharing of multiple resources through one link. This sometimes gets missed, right? It's this idea that if I really wanted to, I could share 1,000 resources using just a single link on Wakelet. Now, the alternative way of doing that would be to list all of the sources in a Word document and then share that Word document, or list the resources in a Slack or Teams message. The problem with that is it's going to get lost. If you've got an inbox like mine, the moment that something gets sent to me, within 10 minutes, it's completely buried. Same with my chat systems as well. The great thing about Wakelet is it allows you to send all those multiple things through that one link. And that one link can be saved as a tab. It can be saved to your bookmarks. It can be saved to your account. It can be copied, and much, much more. The next thing is clean, distraction-free layouts that engage students. Students are in a funny place right now, right? Because obviously, the content that they experience and the platforms in which they see that content, it's just an endless barrage of content, a barrage of distractions. Click here next, things on autoplay. Here's your suggested, here's whatever. Wakelet carries over the best parts of that familiar interface that students find on social media, but it marries it with that focus, right? Where it is free of distraction. And we've given you layouts to do that as well, which I'll go through in just a few moments. We asked our community, what's the best part about Wakelet? And the first thing that came up was, it saves me time. On average, 4 hours of week, prepping materials, creating resources. A lot of you as educators, you know how stressful it is. You've got a class coming up. You have to then quickly panic and be like, it's this lesson. I know where my resources are, but hey, they're on a Google Drive, they're on my desktop, they're all over the place. Wakelet allows you to organize those resources once and then share them infinitely. And then lastly, it reduces friction between multiple tools. You've got logins for loads of different tools. You have to log in each time that you want to see that content. Or with Wakelet, you just copy it to a collection and bam, you log into Wakelet, you see it. It's as simple as that. I wanted to share with you just a few of my favorite examples. And some of these you may have seen, some of these you haven't. I'm going to give each one just a little bit of time because I think they're important. Alex Isaacs. Oh, I was about to say Andy Isaacs. Alex, I apologize if you are in the chat. Alex Isaacs, you've been such an amazing supporter of Wakelet. I'm terribly sorry that I had a momentary blip where I forgot your name. Alex. Alex has created this really cool collection, and he's calling it an I'm Done collection, okay? And he's found it very useful to create Wakelet collections for moments like this, moments that don't necessarily fit into any particular learning outcome or curriculum, but are super important. He found that a lot of students, when they've completed their work in class, they don't have anything else to do. They don't know what to do. They put their hand up, I'm finished the exercise, I finished with what I need to do. Do they just sit there in silence for the next 10 minutes? Or can he share this Wakelet collection with them that has all of these resources that they can go through? Here's the first challenge on a Google Doc, the second challenge. You've got Numble activities, Mathstone activities. So he's been able to just very quickly, at a glance, create a nice collection full of activities that the students are able to use, and he can just easily share it using the QR code. So, hey, you finished? Scan this, pull it up, and do exercise 1, 2, and 3. I love that. The second example here is all around group presentations. I think that, again, it's something that a lot of educators maybe miss. And those educators who know how amazing Wakelet is for collaboration achieve so many awesome learning outcomes through this. It's very simple. You set a prompt, you share the collection with your students, you set it to collaborate, you change the permissions, the students jump in and they're able to then go in and contribute, and they leave their name here. And, in this particular case, given you an example, a prompt here about air pollution and whatnot, the students are able to share their resources and share their information together, all in the same place. So really, really good with the collaborative collections and super easy to share as well. The second one is reflection. This is done by an amazing ambassador, Letitia Citizen. Reflection's a super important part of the school journey. And obviously with Wakelet, our primary function for a lot of educators is giving the opportunity for students to create amazing portfolios. I'll show you one soon. But reflection's a really, really important part of it. So this collection here is students are able to jump into this collection, copy it as a template, and fill it out. Here they get to jot down 3 to 5 of their successes, 1 to 3 quotes that you heard at school that will forever impact your life. Look at this. This goes more than just learning. It goes beyond just your average lesson, right? This is getting the students to think in an interactive way, in a safe environment. And James is going to share with you how you can do that as well shortly. Okay, next example here. Again, this here is a guide for teachers. So it's not always teacher to student, sometimes it's teacher to teacher. You've got introduction to a particular subject. You've got the modules all spread out beautifully here within the our column view, which I think is awesome. And this is an absolute goldmine for teachers, because they're able to jump on collections like this, gain that inspiration, and understand very quickly, hey, I can take this into my classroom and I've got all the ideas that I need to create an amazing activity, something that's engaging. The best part is it's being done by a teacher, it's being vetted by a teacher. And just a quick segue, if you go to our explore area here, you're going to be able to find all of the best collections on Wakelet created by educators. We've got millions of collections created by people just like you. And that takes away, again, a little bit more of the time saving. If you're an English teacher, head to the English area and you have some really, really cool resources, lesson plans, templates and things that you can use there as well. Okay, what else? There was one other one which I wanted to show as well, because I can see that we're late on time. This is another one which isn't even academic. It's just a big time saver for Gregory School. Okay, this was put together. We came up with we heard this use case from someone in the community years ago, and now so many schools are creating digital lost and founds on Wakelet. Seems like a really small idea, but it changes the game for them, because they're able to create this one collection that's a rolling collection, and in it they just snap pictures of the things that the students have left behind, and then parents and students are able to come in and say, hey, that blouse, that jacket, that belongs to me. Again, we never came up with this. This is something that the community came up with, but it's not just saving time on an academic level. There's a bunch of ways that Wakelet's being used like this. And then last but not least is portfolios. I always go on about portfolios, and if you thought I was going to miss it this time, you're mistaken. Portfolios are more important than ever, and James is going to show you shortly how we've now made it possible for entire groups of students, everything from a small group of a particular subject, all the way to a classroom, to a school, to a department, to a district, where all of them can be empowered to create amazing portfolios that they use throughout their school journey, and that they then leverage to get into a college or university of their choice, and which they then leverage to get a job, right? So really, from the beginning to the end, that reflection piece, that ability to share the things that make them who they are, the ability to record artifacts that demonstrate their learning and prove it. Here's Juliana Parsons. This is her LinkedIn page. I click on her digital portfolio, and boom, everything that she has ever done, everything that she has ever achieved academically, inside and outside the classroom, is displayed beautifully here. She's used our Canva integration to create these wonderful cover letters for her, cover images for her collections. And all of a sudden, a university looks at this and they know exactly who she is. They know exactly what she's achieved. When you click through, you can go through and see actual evidence of her work across lots of different multimedia, so on and so forth. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about was Wakelet Pro. Some of the features that you've seen there, things like colored items, video record, the ability to actually put together a presentation, they come as part of the Wakelet Pro package, okay? We've thought really long and hard about what makes Wakelet valuable, all right? And we have our free version, which allows you to create 3 collections and do a bunch of stuff. But if you want to unlock the raw power of Wakelet, if you want to access some of the stuff which I just shared with you, then go ahead and unlock Wakelet Pro. It's amazing. It's at a very good price point. And just for this week, well, I think the end of next week, you can use the code PRO20 at the checkout to take 20% off, which is a really good price to lock in for the rest of the year, just $71.99. And you'll unlock unlimited collections, unlimited collaboration, pinned items, video upload, and all the other cool stuff as well. Okay, lastly, before I jump over to James, I wanted to share one thought, which is around collaborate. Collaboration happens in many different ways, right? Students can create collections. You can all gather around like a table and talk. But what we wanted to do was take the essence of collaboration, which is people working together, the essence of Wakelet, which is capturing multimedia resources and put them together in one place, right? So collaborating on Wakelet means shared collections. It means an easier way to invite people to those collections. It means a plethora of learning outcomes, everything from choice boards to reflection exercises and much more. And it means collaborative learning experiences that are brought to life. They no longer have to sit on a static worksheet, right? They're living, they're breathing. If the students don't get around to it in one lesson, they can pick it up in the next lesson. And I wanted to pass over to James to take us through the group plan, because I think that would be a really good place to start.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Misbah. Just before I jump into that, I'll just share a few questions and comments on the screen. That's okay.
Perfect.
Firstly, George is asking where we'll be able to access the video. Yeah, I'll put the certificate link in the chat towards the end. Once you fill that out, all the resources, all those amazing examples that Misbah shared there will be in the collection along with the video of this presentation. So you can always look back and access it anytime and share it around as well. You got a lot of responses, Misbah, to your question about which content type do people add the most. I saw a lot of Canvas. I'm going to put a few on the screen so you can see them as well. So a lot of people say
perfect.
Canva.
Yeah, book creator, YouTube, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt has a
big Canva fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Got Maria here. Use it for a newsletter.
Perfect. I did have a newsletter example that I should have shown, but I kept looking at the time and thinking, man, I've been speaking for way too long. Amazing.
No,
yeah. Head puzzles. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
exactly.
the power is all of these, right?
Yeah, it's not so much one particular integration or one particular piece of media over another. It's the combination of them, and that's what Wakelet does best, right? You all have your favorite tools. You all have the things that you work with, or the things that your school or district have chosen to work with. And Wakelet doesn't care. We don't care whether it's a PDF. We don't care whether it's a YouTube video. If it embeds, it will embed within a Wakelet collection. I saw a question there actually around Facebook and Instagram. So that's a really good question. Facebook and Instagram have historically been a little bit, I don't know what that sound or head movement is, but I think you guys get it, right? It's just like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it depends on what link you actually share and save to Wakelet. Sometimes it doesn't. But Instagram and Facebook, notoriously a little bit difficult. Sometimes they change their algorithm a little bit. Our developers have to keep up with them. But to be honest with you, a lot of students now, they find resources, they find help, they find advice on TikTok. And a lot of teachers are using TikTok as well. There's some really, really cool resources there. So our TikTok integration works perfectly well. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
No, just more idea sharing. Deb saying she loves the year in review. That's the go-to on Wakelet now.
I did actually just before. Can I take 2 minutes just to go through some of the new features that we've got? Okay, sorry guys. I'm gonna. This is my frantic organization here, but I didn't want to leave without showing you. Okay, you can see my screen, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay, brilliant. So let's say we take a collection that a teacher has created, okay? These are just a few of the really cool value adds that you can get on Wakelet Pro. And these are things which people have been asking for quite some time. I personally love them, okay? I'm using them constantly. You can see this little pin here, right? For the longest time, people were like, I have one collection, it's a newsletter, I never change it. It's one of many collections, but there's links at the top which are always constant. They stay there regardless because they help give context to the rest of the collection. So we're like, okay, let's just pin them, right? Pin them to the top. So now if you just click the 3 buttons here, you'll be able to see a pin to top icon. If you just click that, that's just going to pin that to the top. And the great part is you can pin multiple items to the top. And if you move them around, they'll stay as like a pinned group as well, which is really cool. I'm finding this really, really useful in my own work because I use Wakelet for a weekly planner. Like every week I have a collection that has all my tasks for that week in, and I put the ones which are the most prioritized at the top. Then anything that I add into the link adder here is always going to go below them. So that's really cool. Another thing that I've been doing as well, which is sweet, is color coding. So now with Pro, you can click on item color and you're able to change any item into a different color. We've got a bunch of colors to choose from. We'll most likely be adding more. But this is really useful when it comes to things like leaving feedback for your students. So let's say you have like already a particular very simple rubric, which is like red, needs a little bit more work, green, perfect, orange. You can add that easily to your students' collections. And then for yourself, again, prioritize things like that. And also it just makes the collection look absolutely beautiful. Also here, you'll notice this little button where I can upload video and record video. This has been super useful for me because it saves me grabbing links from around the web and adding them and changing permissions. Sometimes I just want to record a video of myself, pop it into the collection and use that to provide context. Educators are using this in amazing ways. They're using it to add instruction and add feedback, but also students are using it too. So I think I had a really cool collection here. If I can find it, why can't I find it? Give me a second. I had a collection that had student video in. Well, I'll find it for you another time on another webinar, but students are also using that particular feature for projects and to demonstrate that they've learned something, to demonstrate understanding, and also just to share their own feedback as well. Another really cool thing is having folders. So you'll see in my profile area here, if I go back to my collections, there is a new button called Add Folder. And if I click that, I can create a folder and I'm able to add another layer of organization to my Wakelet collections because I'm then able to add things to my math folder. I can create as many folders as I want as well. So yeah, I just wanted to show just a couple of the things that you get with the Pro features. But if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, James, over to you, sorry.
Wonderful, thank you. Right, I'm going to share my entire screen, so can you put it on the screen when I'm presenting?
I'll do the same. Thank you, Lydia.
Nice.
Okay,
yeah,
we can see it. Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, I just wanted to spend 5-10 minutes just talking about how you can use Wakelet at scale. What Ms. showed there, all those amazing use cases, you can do them on the individual plan, as he showed there on Pro, but also as part of what I'll show you now as a group. The main difference between what I'll show now, though, is it's all about connection on the group plans. The individual plan, you can use it on your own, you can collaborate per collection, but what groups allows you to do is work with the same people much easier and stay connected more effectively. So what I mean by that is if I click on my little drop down here, so most of you will just have this Pro our starter area here, which is your own personal area. You organize your collections, you create as much as you like in there. But what you'll see now is we have these elements called workspaces where you can actually, like I say, collaborate and connect on a much higher level at a group level, school, or even in some cases, district level. As you can see here, as one example is Flatiron School. And inside of here is all of the work that I do in this school environment. And you can see I've got a few groups that I've got here. These groups are filled with different types of people. They could be my colleagues, it could be a tech coach, my counselors, and it also can be students. And a group is very flexible. It just allows you, as I said, to connect and collaborate on a much larger level. And also it means that you're no longer, inviting people to a collection one by one or by email or using the link. You can basically collaborate on a bunch of different collections all at one time. So I'm going to start with kind of how it's set up. I won't get stuck on this because this is the bit you do once you get onboarded. But you have some settings in the back end of groups. And the two most important ones to start with are members. As I said, you can invite any sort of member into here. A member could be a student. As you can see, I've got quite a few here. It could be a teacher or it could be an admin. Really easily, you can invite as many people as you like into a workspace from, like I say, a class level all the way up to a district and everything in between. You then have groups, and this is where the power is. A group is that collaborative area where you can have all those different types of people. For example, I've got this history team here. This will be full of my history teachers. So all admins here, just my history team. I'm going to share history collections, resources between the team in this group. And then, for example, with history, you can see I have a lot of editors. These are students in here. So this is a class environment. This is my history class. So you can see it's flexible. It can be just teachers, it can be just students, or it could be a bit of a mix. So that's kind of how you would set up a group. And like I said, on the left-hand side, all of my groups are here. Really, really simple to showcase kind of the collaboration that goes on in here. So the first one I'm going to show is probably this one here, PD resources. For example, let's say I'm a tech coach, a media specialist. I'm constantly sharing resources with my staff. Yes, I can share them one by one, but just here alone, I've got 5 different collections. That's 5 different links that I'll be sharing out. Wakelet's great for housing all those links in one place in a collection, but now groups is great for housing all those collections into one group, into one workspace. So within here, imagine this will grow and grow throughout the year, but this is a really great way of showcasing those groups and having your teachers and colleagues access one area. They know where to go. They know if they want to access some PD resources, let's say it's on Microsoft Teams, the student guide that you created, they would go to their school, they'd go to the group PD resources, and they'd go ahead and access the collections in here. Really, really simple, everything in one spot for them to go and access. If we're talking collaboration, again, I'm part of a history team. I'm a teacher, history teacher. There's 3 of us in the history department. We want to share our best resources with each other. Again, we could all keep them to ourselves and use them individually. That is what you do on the individual plan. But as part of the group plan, you can all work together. And all these collections that you see on the screen, every teacher within this group will be able to view and collaborate and add to each of these collections. So, for example, Martin Luther King, all the resources in here, we would have access to, come in, add content, edit. But most importantly, once we've kind of approved all these vetted resources, we can then share these out to students. Go ahead and change that to Can View, and they'll be able to access that. So really, really simple way of collaborating with your colleagues there. Another way, or kind of the next way, so that was as a tech coach sharing with colleagues and your team, and a history teacher sharing with your team as well. As I mentioned before, you can also invite students into this. So in this class, for example, History P2, this is where it's a classroom environment. I want to be sharing these resources, these collections with my students. And again, I'm not going to share them one by one. I'm going to instruct them to go to their school workspace, go to History P2 during period 2, and they'll see all of the collections they need access to right here. So to start with, ancient empires, as an example, I've collected some resources for my students to learn a bit more about the ancient empires, whether it's Egypt, Rome, China, so on. All of the resources, as you saw with Misbah, you can share some nice videos and some links with them. Really simply now, instead of going to share and copying this link and sending it around Teams, QR code, which are efficient in a way, but what I want them to have quick access. Well, at the bottom here, it says students in History P2 can view. So as soon as I set that to Can View, they will be able to access that within their History P2 group. Really, really simple. So there's no longer sharing that link to the 30 people in the class. You change this one permission and they'll have access to view all of this content within here. Now, the second bit to that is, yes, viewing is great. It's great to head in one spot for that safe, secure, vetted materials. But there's a point to this. You want to collaborate. You want to get more more engagement out of your students. So, for example, this collection here, all about Renaissance inventions, this is a collaborative research project. Well, you're going to create the collection up exactly the way you do. Here you've got some colored cards and pinned items. But now I'm going to click share, and I want my students to collaborate. So students in History P2, instead of Can View, I'm going to put Can Add. And this will allow every student within that class, within History P2, will be able to come into this collection and add their content. And just like you've seen before, you can see who's posted which content into this. So Omar there, Ava, Clinton, Clarence, and so on. And there's Daniel. So all of that collaboration in one spot. Again, you don't have to share any links out. You very simply just change the permission there for students to be able to collaborate. And then the third way I want to show you how you can kind of assign collections now is through activities. So viewing is one thing, collaborating is another. But now maybe you want to set a template for your students to work off of, to scaffold. So that's why we built activities. So this is a collection about understanding utilitarian leaders. This is an activity. And in here is a really nice template created by the teacher. And you can see there's a lot of fill in the blanks, leader's name, picture, who was the leader on their role, and so on and so on. Well, with one click of a button, you can assign this as an activity, but it is a template that will go to each and every student, and then you can monitor their progress as well. So you can see all the students down the right-hand side. I think there's about 9 of us in here. Ava has started, great. Clarence has submitted, perfect. And you can see the rest of them here have not started yet. But if I were to go and see, what's Clarence been up to, what's he submitted? Well, I'll click on Clarence there, and you'll see just Clarence's work now. So Clarence has focused on Nelson Mandela, and you can see they've added in the picture. They've answered the questions within each of these templated questions. And again, I've checked Clarence. Okay, let's check Omar's. Looking at Omar's, Abraham Lincoln, and yeah, I can see all everything's answered. Perfect. look at all that, and the rubric at the bottom as well. So activities, great way of scaffolding, great way of assigning those templates to your students. And there's a few extra bits here. You can pause it for review, you can submit it. Once that is submitted and complete, you keep a copy of the work, and the students also get a copy, which leads into that portfolio element that Misbah was mentioning before. Now, last bits I want to show, and then I'll hand back over to Misbah, is within these groups, again, we're trying to make these super flexible, because we know within classroom environments, things change. You may one time want to assign an activity and have a bit more structure, but other times you may just want your students to go ahead and research a certain topic. So within the groups, your students can actually create their own collections without you having to assign, just instruct them, or off their own back they can do. So within this here, you see we've got one activity. Well, I want to see what my students are doing in Intro to Business. So within this group, I've got all of these students in here. So if I wanted to see, for example, what Omar has been up to in my class, if I click on Omar's name, this is all of Omar's work that he's been working on within this class. And again, I've not assigned them. I've not sent a collaborative collection or a list of resources. These are all created by Omar himself. So all this work is here in one place. And then if you want to see where this is kind of leading to, as you can see, he's done awards and recognition, certifications, about me. Well, there's a reason for that. All of the work that I've showed in those groups there, if Omar's a part of it, well, Omar can add that to his portfolio. And this is the ultimate goal. All of that work that you share with them to view, to collaborate on, or even work on themselves or from a template, they can then showcase throughout their years as a portfolio. So here's academic highlights from Omar. Whether this is a collection in a collection, whether it's some writing examples of his work, whether it's reflections. I think there's a year in review on one of these. Yeah, my 2025 year in review, as Deb was mentioning, great for a teacher, but how amazing for students to reflect on their year as well. Whether that's their written work, whether it's a video, all of that amazing work, everything's in one spot in that safe, secure workspace, and they go ahead and showcase it at the end of it. So that's just a kind of a quick recap of what groups can offer. I'll stop sharing there, Misbah. I hope I didn't miss anything, but is there any questions or anything else?
No, James, that was absolutely perfect. I think you did a brilliant job of showcasing the different features and really landing on the fundamental and what this is all about. You know, the group plans and the group setting of Wakelet is a response to you guys. So many teachers started to use Wakelet at first, and they wanted to use it with their students, and you know, they could collaborate and they could get their students to view collections, but then all of those things that come with student use, so safety, single sign-on, rostering, all of those things, they're quite complicated. So what we wanted to do was do it properly and create a learning environment that's a one-stop shop for the students, where they get to not only experience all the collections that you've created and get your guidance and your resources, but also collaborate with other classmates on activities and assignments. And then most importantly, use it as their own corner of the web where they can reflect, where they can capture evidence of their achievement, and most importantly, as James said, the gold standard, which is create that student portfolio that is going to make a real impact on their prospects once they finish high school. Now, as part of our plans as well, we make sure that every student who graduates after they've been using Wakelet continues to use the platform afterwards. They take their portfolio with them. We've got a really smooth system in which they get to take ownership of it. And we also give them a period of time where they can use Wakelet Pro for free as well. Because at the end of the day, all of this has to be assigned to a particular goal. Wakelet is fantastic for saving time. It's great for helping you get through the day and make your lives easier as educators, and also create amazing learning experiences. But our end goal is to ensure that every student from every background has an equal opportunity to showcase the things that they're happy and proud of, and things that make them who they are, to the people who matter, right? And improve their prospects once they finish. It's a new age, guys. You know, the age of standardized tests and things might be taking a back seat now, and it's the age of experience, it's the age of proof, and it's definitely the age of the portfolio. So we like to think of the group plan as a incredibly simple, flexible, safe way of achieving that ultimate goal. So I hope that you really enjoyed this webinar. I think it's always great to showcase some of the things that you may not have seen before. We will be putting more examples in the collection. I didn't have too much time to go through all of them. But we will be showcasing more examples in the list of resources that we send you as well, the collection. But in the meantime, it's going to be an amazing year for Wakelet. We're going to be releasing new features. We're going to be doing new things. But most importantly, we're going to continue supporting you as educators and making a big difference in what you do with your students and how you get through your day as well. Unless there's anything else, James, I think that's probably time that we close off.
Yeah, I think so. I've just put the certificate link in the chat. So again, if you want to get a certificate of attendance and also the resources and the recording of this video, it'll all be in there. So fill that in with your email and that'll be with you shortly.
Thank you so much, everybody. As I always say, as a community, we love you, we appreciate you, and we couldn't do what we do without you. I hope you all have a fantastic start to the year and keep tuned for some really cool updates headed your way as well. So see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.